All right. Well, big man Brad, we met in, kind of like a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And just through the Love Yoga crew that we hang out with.
Yeah.
And I know you and I just hit it off like immediately. Like we were at Jalisco, I think, right?
Yeah. We went to Jalisco with a big group of people and really connected there.
Yeah. I was like, the minute I hear a guy who's like, yeah, I just went through a divorce and then I just went through a breakup, and I'm just like, I'm like, nice to meet you.
Let's share our trauma.
Let's share our trauma. Yeah. And I guess tell me a little bit about how you got to Montana, because this was not your intended destination.
Not at all. So backstory. So I was a professional bodybuilder, model, celebrity trainer in Los Angeles, had kind of built this amazing life for myself. And at the time, I was married, really on top of the world in the professional life. Like people would kill for kind of where I was training, some of the biggest names in the world, Mike Tyson, working with a bunch of other different professional athletes and, multimillionaire and billionaire clients. And one day my ex-wife walks in the door and says, I want out. And like, it was literally at the pinnacle of my professional career. Like everything I had grinded for had like come to fruition. Just signed this $10 million investment deal to open up a world-class performance and wellness center that was going to set us up for life. And then she's just like, I'm out. And I'm like, so absolutely broke me. So here I was, top of the world professionally, personal life, just absolute garbage.
Yeah.
So I went through this whole phase of suicidal ideologies and depression and everything. And that's when I retired from bodybuilding because, I didn't like who I was. I was dealing with childhood trauma and everything. And that workaholic attitude of mine was to overcome, that brokenness inside of me. It was like that constant need for validation and running from the chaos in my mind. And that was the way I controlled it. Instead of drugs and alcohol and all this other stuff, it was workaholism.
Through, building more muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, flash forward a little bit, I'd gone on this healing journey and went down the path of, doing plant medicine and everything and really broke down those walls and really got to see kind of where that trauma was coming from. And so I dedicated the next couple of years of my life just trying to be the best version of myself. And through that, I just found that my life became very empty, like the professional stuff. Everything was so superficial there, and being in Los Angeles, everybody's superficial and there was no real connection and no real purpose of what I was doing. So I knew I needed to leave, and God slowly stripped everything away from me. Investments fell through and my training clientele base kind of fell off. And finally I was at a point I was like, all right, like God is telling me to get out of here. So I decided to buy a van, and my journey was I was going to travel the country for 8 months and go hit up all the national parks. And then I was going to go disappear in the jungle of Costa Rica with a flip phone, no social media, just me, my own messed up head, and hopefully finding God there. So I went back to New Hampshire to go visit my family for what was supposed to be 6 weeks, and that turned into a 10-month excursion. So that was a derailment. And then finally, that girl that we talked about, that I dated, met a girl there, and I was like, all right, God's throwing another detour in. She turned out to be really crazy. And I was like, I'm going to get in my van and go now.
But you thought she was the love of your life at the moment, right?
It was such an amazing connection. I'd never felt so safe and so seen by someone, but she was a person that allowed her trauma to be her identity and was so explosive because of that.
Yeah.
She was very healed in certain ways, but also just very explosive and traumatized in others. And, I thought being this stable, grounded, masculine energy in her life could help her, but she just brought chaos into my life. And I was like,
my experience. And we talked about this because I was like, this sounds like the exact woman that I dated. And it almost like it triggers them more. Like when they have like a masculine man in their life and who's trying to ground them and like give them that, it's like they don't respond very well to it. It becomes, in my experience, it was like she's arm wrestling me all the time. And it's like a power grab, right?
Right.
And gosh, that just doesn't line up with, I'm kind of on my journey back to religion as well, back to Christ as well. And, leaving Jehovah's Witnesses. And it's like, man, that doesn't resonate with me. Like nothing that I understand in my faith and how I believe, like I can't be in that relationship. And
yeah. It's wild. And the most important thing we can have is peace in our life. And if your partner isn't bringing you peace, then that's a really hard uphill battle.
That's a rough road.
Yeah. So finally I launch, I get in the van and I take off and I'm bombing across the country. And, I left kind of the first week of October. So my goal was to get through all the national parks, getting to Glacier National Park, because I wanted to hit Going to the Sun Road before it closed for the winter. And I was supposed to arrive on the Friday before it closed permanently that Monday. And I get about 4 hours out and they get a snowstorm and it closes. So as I was heading up here, an old client of mine from LA who I'd trained for, probably like 7 months, him and his wife had moved up here in 2021. And he was like, hey, he's like, come up here, come see me, come see our kids. They had 2 little boys, come meet my wife. And so when I came up here, I was like, all right, this is great. It's a free place to park my van for a couple nights. So when I first got up here, stayed at their place, did some little day trips back and forth to Glacier. And then I decided to go on the east side and go spend a couple days over there and really explore that side. Well, just got done a 12-hour hike, heading back to the campground I was staying at. I was like 1.8 miles away, and the sun had gone down. It was a really cloudy, kind of dreary day, and God put a cow in front of me. And when I say a cow, not like a moose or, it's an actual black Angus cow.
Yep.
Hit this thing doing about 60, 65 miles an hour and absolutely destroyed my van. So fast forward, I finally get a tow, and just so happens to be the opening weekend of hunting season. So it took 2 days to get a tow company even to come out and get me, because
nobody's working.
Right, nobody's working. Everybody's out hunting. So I get the van towed back to my buddy's place, and I find a shop out here, and the guy said, it'd be 6 to 8 weeks if I can get parts on time. So my friends were like, hey, if you want to stay with us, we have a room that's open. It's got its own little bathroom and like a little bar area. You can stay there as long as you need. And I'm a control freak my whole life, always have been. And I had opportunities where I had friends offer to let me use their vans so I could continue on my journey. And my studio apartment in LA had actually just opened up. My tenant had moved out. And I was like, all right, well, maybe I can go back and just make some money. During this time. And I knew on my path to finding God at that point, like God from a spiritual standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I just felt like there was a reason there was a cow put in front of me, like this opportunity to really surrender. So I surrendered.
It's like Jonah, right? Like, right. I don't want to go. He's like, don't worry, there's a whale that's going to swallow you up and spit you out where you need to be.
Right. So I end up surrendering and staying on this farm with my friends. And that was really the healing journey that I thought Costa Rica was going to be for me. Mm-hmm. They had this beautiful 100-acre farm and a 1.5 mile long driveway. So I would take our dogs for a walk twice a day, and just being an hour plus outside in just the beautiful Montana skies where you're just so close to God. Mm-hmm. And I just felt that deeper connection, and I felt some of this healing happen. And, through that, I got connected with a couple people here, and I started going to Love Yoga and met some amazing folks like you and Raf and Kat and this whole little community. And then I met some other people that really kind of introduced me to Christianity, and invited me to church for the first time. And we can get into that in a minute. But, after being here for a while and just building such a beautiful community and being in such a beautiful area, that I was like, there was a reason why that cow was here, and it wasn't just to stop me in my tracks for surrender there, but is to make this home. Mm-hmm. So that is how I ended up in the valley.
It's like the quintessential Montana story, right? Yeah. Like I hit a farm animal, and lo and behold, then I've been stuck here for a year waiting on, because everyone knows the mail's slow in Montana, and people are like, oh yeah, it basically it's the Pony Express out here still, right? So like Montana's always hurry up and wait. Like, it's so different than LA where you're from, right? Like everything's now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see how so many people come here and it's like a breath of fresh air where pace of life is just slower.
Yeah.
And you can sit with yourself and you can enjoy nature by yourself and kind of just get more in touch. And man, I've lived here for almost 20 years and I travel a lot. And I've been to Sao Paulo, Brazil, which is the largest city in the Western Hemisphere, right? It's like 12.5 million people.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine living life there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to visit and it's fun to experience that and see that, but I don't know how people do it in LA. I guess that's why they're moving out. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. The energy is different. It's like, I grew up in New Hampshire, kind of a small town, like when I was growing up, but now it's, you know, I'm like 45 minutes north of Boston. So, you know, urban sprawl and everything, it's gotten busier. But like when I was living in LA, I'd go back to New Hampshire. I'm like, oh my God, this place is so slow. Like I can't be here. It's just so desolate. And then now that I've been here for a while, whenever I go back to New Hampshire, I'm like, oh my God, this is way too busy.
The traffic.
Right. Just, it's too much. And then I go to LA, you know, because I go frequently and I'm just like,
it's
just
overwhelming.
Like my soul is just like, get me out of here. It's like screaming. And again, like, I don't know how I did 14 years there, but I was in a different phase of my life and I definitely wasn't connected to source or my soul at all.
Totally. Yeah. And it is something that is amazing about this community is, you know, there's more churches than bars, right? Like you'll notice that, right?
Yeah.
And I have a weird take on it. Like growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, like I never felt spiritual, and I'm like, that's what I really have gathered. It's been fun to watch you and like get to know you, and because you know I grew up religious, right? But those are I never really knew, but those are two separate things.
Very.
And religious is just like this is the letter of the law, right? Like it's not about the spiritual aspect of it at all. It's almost more like you've taken Christ and you've made it a business, right? Performative, yes. Yeah. And it's been tough to shake that out of me. Like I tend to be pretty litigious with things and my rules and my company policies and stuff. And I can be, I try not to be, but I guess I was just so brainwashed into like, this is how life is. Right.
Yeah.
And tell me more about your spiritual journey and like.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wasn't raised around religion at all. You know, like I had aunts and uncles and stuff that would go to like a midnight mass on Christmas, but outside of that, like church was never part of our lives. My mother and father never spoke about God to me, never spoke about Christ. And I grew up in an area in the Northeast in New England where, you know, it's a lot of like brimstone and fire, you know, that like hardcore Catholicism and God's going to punish you for doing this and
shame and guilt.
Right. It's like, I always kind of had this negative ideology on religion. And as I got older, you know, I just saw the hypocrisy in religion. And so really I was an atheist for most of my life. And, you know, following all the way up until just after the divorce, you know, I was a true atheist. And when I was on a plant medicine ceremony during my healing journey, God came to me. You know, I was at a sound bath, and this energetic being just hovered over top of me and said, "Brad, your undenying belief in yourself was belief in me because I created you as you are." And like, that was my thing. I always thought that I had everything inside of me I needed to get through life. I didn't need to believe in this fairy tale of God to hold my hand to get me through hard times because I was strong inside. And that was kind of like my ideas on religion, and that as society matured, we wouldn't need this fairy tale anymore. We'd become strong enough within ourselves that we wouldn't need that. And then that moment just absolutely rocked my world, and it just flipped everything upside down. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I am part of his creation. And that's why I had those feelings, because really he was living in me and I just didn't know. Yeah. You know? And
I think to your point where you said, as society matures, we've kind of seen that it's the opposite. People are becoming more spiritual than ever.
Right.
And I think that's actually what it is. That's maturity, right? Is adopting that, well, you're not strong enough on your own. Nobody is.
Right.
And you do need someone else. You do need to be in touch with that realm.
Right. Yeah. So, we continue down this path, and I'm continuing to do the medicine and working on myself and creating this relationship with God, but it wasn't God from a Christianity standpoint, or God from, it was just like, I believed in a creator. I believed in one source. I thought about it, I'm like, there's thousands of religions and beliefs across the world, and majority of them all look up to one deity. So how is there not one source? And that's kind of like how I had progressed in my spiritual path. And it was a little bit of woo-woo-ness as well. And then when I got here to Montana, like I said, it was just, I felt that deeper and deeper connection with God, with source, and the people I lived with. The wife specifically is a devout Christian. And, she witnessed me a couple times, but never forced things upon me. But it was also just like seeing the love and the care and the openness they had to take in this stranger who was kind of in a stranded place, kind of like living that true life of Christ. And so I started getting this curiosity towards understanding Christ. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I would like to just go to a non-denominational church once and then just see what the energy's like. Well, lo and behold, I ended up getting connected with a buddy of mine out here. And I left my jacket in his car one day, and he texted me. He's like, hey, I got your jacket. This is like on a Saturday. And he's like, I'm going to go to church tomorrow morning. God put it on my heart to invite you. Wow. And I was like,
yeah,
I've been getting this curiosity. Let me see this. So I walk into church, and within 5 minutes, I literally just felt the Holy Spirit move through my body.
Were you scared going for the first time?
So the funny part was, it just so happened that there was a big rave the night before. And so I went out to this rave and partied until like 4 a.m. I don't do drugs or anything like that, but like I was still out, and I'm like, I'm going to church after going out partying. Like, I'm already walking in like a major sinner. Like, this is hilarious.
That's what church is for, though.
Right, for sinners. Repent yourself. Yeah, so I get up that next day, and there was a little bit of nervousness to me, because like, again, like I have my ideology around what church was, because what I saw in New England, like those churches that were built in the 1800s, and it's this stuffy place, and everybody's all dressed up, and if you sneeze, like they look at you like you're a sinner, basically. So that was my perspective. And all of a sudden I walk into this church, and people are just out there, jeans and a t-shirt, and they're smiling from ear to ear, and they're going out of their way to shake your hand and look at you and smile and say hello. And like the worship music was just inviting, and the energy and the sermon was just this loving, energetic sermon, and
not what you think it's going to be.
No. Yeah. And it just like, it blew me out of the water. And like, I broke down, I was bawling my eyes out for like 20 minutes, when that happened. And also like during that, like I got this message from God about what my purpose in life was. I had already known a little bit, and I had kind of gone down that path, but it was just like that affirmation of like, this is what you're created for. This is why you're here. This is your journey. And like, you're here to make an impact. You're here to be a light of mine. And it was just the most beautiful feeling. And so 3 days later, I ended up committing myself to Christ. You
move fast
with a couple friends, and, I haven't looked back since then. And truly, like, I can honestly say there was parts of me that were still very broken. Like, I still let anxiety and other things overcome me. Mm-hmm. And once I committed, it was like that was wiped away.
Washed away. Yeah.
Wiped away. I'm not saying I don't have my moments now.
Sure.
But that overwhelming like anxiety of like, what's next? What am I doing? Like what is the purpose of life? Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. And it's like everything I mocked. And I just I just got on my knees crying. I was like, I literally used to mock you, God. I used to mock Christ. And now here I am. Like, you see me on social media. I am bold in my faith. I am bold in my testimony. And it's just like this wild,
as you should be,
right? This wild 180 that I've been through.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer. I know Jesus, we always preach that, to be followers, but Jesus didn't really come to create followers. He came to create leaders.
Exactly.
And to be a leader, you have to be bold, right? You have to stand up you have to have a spine. You have to stand up for what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the beautiful fruits of seeing in my boldness was, I'm part of this like men's kingdom group. We meet once a month, and there's different leaders in the area, entrepreneurs and stuff. And one of the guys opened up a burger restaurant in town. And so like we went to go support him, and I walk in, and it's part of a bar. And as I'm in there waiting for my burgers, I was getting to go, this couple started talking to me, and they asked me like what my purpose, like, you know, what I was here for. And I just boldly spoke about Christ. And the chef, who's this younger kid, who this guy's kind of helping out, overheard my conversation in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And when I left, he mentioned to the owner, he's like, man, he's like, I've never heard someone like in a bar come out and be so bold and talk about Christ. Well, the next day, the owner comes in, and there's a Bible in the kitchen. And it was like him hearing my boldness.
Yeah.
And also seeing all the other men of this group come in and support that restaurant, like got this guy to open up and lead into his faith. And now every day he reads the Bible, they pray over their food and everything. So I think that was one of the most beautiful fruits of that boldness that I've seen thus far.
It's when you do take a lead like that, you help other people, and you're such, you know, I mean, you're a strong guy, I mean, physically and mentally and spiritually, obviously. And so it's easy to have other men say, oh, okay, like Brad's doing it, I can do it. Like I can, you know, you help when someone like you acts bold, it helps other men to stand up and do the same. You're kind of like the Apostle Paul in that regard, right? He held the coats of the men as they stoned Christians, and then, wait a minute, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing here.
Right. Yeah, I never thought of it that way.
I know a lot about the Bible. I knew nothing about spirituality. I just have all these scriptures, you know, crammed into my brain from 30 years of, you know, ministering door to door.
Yeah. Right. But you
don't feel anything.
Right,
yeah.
You didn't have that embodiment of it.
No, you're just a machine, you know, you're just you have a script essentially to your life, and this is who you are, and this is your personality that's been assigned to you, and this is what you have to go and do. And I think I had the same, when you leave that, and that's what was the catalyst of my divorce, is like, you don't know who you are because you've been assigned, like I said, a personality from birth, essentially. And my ex-wife she grew up as a Jehovah's Witness as well. We had never been to any other churches. And you don't know, you're 30 years old, like I was 30 or 31 when I left, and you have no clue who you are. You've never been your own person, right? And it's a scary moment, man. Like, it definitely breaks you. You're like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, have I, you know, and it's like, do I even love this woman? Like, we got married. I mean, it's essentially like almost as close as you could get to an arranged marriage at that point. Like, and you know, her and I, neither one of us, you know, I don't believe she's, goes to church or anything. I don't know what she does now. I don't talk to her about it, but, we're completely different people than when we met, you know, like completely different, which is fine. I mean, it's the evolution of being a human being. It's changing. And so, what do you think, I know you have a new business, because you're so entrepreneurial, in mind. Tell me more about that, or what your next step is.
Yeah, you know, when I walked away from my life previously, I had this inkling that I was meant to make an impact in other men's lives, like helping out men who were like me.
Yeah.
And like I said, through that journey, like God really reiterated, like, my purpose here is to help men and to lead men. And so I'm starting with like just launching a podcast. So I'm going to get the podcast launched at the beginning of the new year. And it's just inviting like conversations like this, just people sharing their testimony, sharing their story, still leading on like a health and fitness kind of background as well. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'll do some coaching, but it's not just like, oh, here's a workout plan and this and that. Like, we're going to have weekly phone calls, like weekly check-ins, you know, and it's more about like guiding you through life, you know, supporting you in other ways. So that's kind of like where the main money is going to come from, that coaching. But there's like a ministry aspect that I'm stepping into. So right now I'm starting out, and I'm in a place where God is telling me just to serve right now. Don't worry about money. Don't chase the money. Like, I know that I have these things coming up, but just lean into serving. So right now I facilitate men's group Zoom calls. So I have 3 different groups, and I'm about to launch a 4th. And it's the same men in each group. You know, I've got 7 men per group, and we meet every 2 weeks. And it's just creating community and connection and, you know, brotherhood, and just allowing a safe space for these men to talk about the struggles that they're having in their daily lives, to talk about issues they're having in their marriage, relationships, or whatever it might be. And then also we have a topic each week that we'll talk about. So like, we'll talk about mother wounds, we'll talk about father wounds. And it's really been beautiful watching these men who don't really know each other come into this place and feel so safe and open up and talk about their wounds and talk about their traumas and really identify how it's affected their lives and how they've acted. And the fruit that I've seen from that, as far as like how they're able to step into the real world outside of those calls and be more stable and be more grounded and be more compassionate, has just been a beautiful thing to witness. So that's another aspect of what I'm doing. And then I think my biggest strength is connection, is one-on-one connection. So I'll be launching these kind of like men's intensives. So I want to have 3 men at a time come out. You stay in my house, and we do some hard things. You know, I'm going to have you fast. We're going to hike. We're going to breath work, cold plunge, sauna, all those things. I want to challenge you physically, so that way we can break down those walls emotionally. And I'm going to prod at you and try to find out where those wounds are coming from. But instead of the whole, you know, David Goggins type yelling and screaming, when you're about to give up in the sauna or in the cold plunge, you're trying to white knuckle it, or, you know, we're on this 12-hour hike and you want to quit. It's about meeting them with grace and compassion in that moment, so they know how to love themselves, because that's the problem with us men. We don't know how to truly love ourselves. There's broken parts in ourselves that need that love, that need that grace, and we carry that guilt and shame through that, and we reject those parts of ourselves, and we think that being bravado and tough and angry is how we get through things. But really, it's about just having that love and compassion, so you can be grounded, you can be emotionally intelligent, you know, teaching them how to control their nervous system, so that when they're in the real world and they have issues with their spouse, or they have issues with their kids, or they have issues at work, they're not reactive. You know, they understand how to be grounded.
Such a good skill to have.
Yeah. So that's what I really feel called for. But like I said, right now I'm just in this place where God is just telling me, like, I just keep hearing, just serve, just serve, just serve. And that entrepreneur in me and that survival mode part of me is still being like, my money's going away really quick right now. Like, I haven't worked in 2 years. Like, what am I going to do? And like, so I have all these grandiose ideas, and I literally just keep hearing God say, you're trying to put the cart before the horse. Yeah. So like, and it's been a lesson of patience for me as well, because I know that he's still working on me to steward in the plans the big plans that he has for me. So eventually, you know, the big coaching is going to come, and the sponsorships and the podcasts and all that other stuff is going to come. But right now it's just serving, being available. And God has given me so many opportunities, especially like I've got a couple of friends in the Valley that have been really navigating some hard things, or some other people in my groups, and just being available for them, and just being an ear for them and a grounded space for them.
Yeah.
And just seeing the fruit of that. So I know that's kind of the phase I'm in right now. And like that entrepreneur, that hustler is like, it's like chomping at the bit to go, but God's just like, just be there.
Let's cut real quick.
No. Yeah. So, right now, just in that place of serving. And, I know God is, I'm in a place where he's blessed me, you know, financially. I made some smart decisions when I was younger, and the real estate route. Like, I bought a house in Los Angeles, you know, in 2017.
Phenomenal.
In a booming area. So,
and you just sold it this year, correct?
Just sold it in July. It was one of those things, like, I planned on keeping it long-term as a rental property. I'm like, oh, you know, I'll let it appreciate. And it was making me a significant amount of money every month anyway. And when I went back to Los Angeles, in end of May, I had to go to a dental appointment. I just showed up to the house, and God told me to let it go.
Yeah.
And I was like, and my identity was attached around that.
I've had that too. I had a property.
Yeah.
My identity was attached to it.
Yeah.
It was like, you poured a ton of time and energy and effort to buy that, right? And or build it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like, are you kidding me? I got to let this go. Like, I want to keep it forever. I want the appreciation. I want the rental income.
Right.
It's like, no.
And it was ego
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Being like, I own a house in LA. Like, how many people can say that? You know,
Very few.
And so like, it was this ego, and God's like, no, that's not you. That's not your identity anymore. That's not you.
Have you had troubles with your ego most of your life?
I broken ego.
Yeah.
Opposite. You know, like some men lead with like bravado. Mine comes from a place of brokenness of like, I need to achieve and accomplish these things to prove that I'm worthy.
Ooh, okay. That resonates with me. I would say I never really knew what ego was until I got told. They're like, you know, you have a lot of ego, right? And I was like, I'm like, I'll be honest. I think I was like 31 or 32. And I'm like, I don't even know what ego, I don't even know what the definition of that is. I didn't know I had an ego.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all
it's very embarrassing. I mean, I laugh about it now, but it was very embarrassing. I'm like, oh shit.
But the ego's good. Like, we need ego.
You do.
Healed,
you do.
healthy ego.
Yeah.
But that unchecked ego makes people want to gain power, control, or there's that broken ego, which are probably like you and I.
That's for sure.
Where we're just trying to get validation.
Yeah.
So we are doing everything that we can. We're controlling as much as we can because we feel so broken and empty inside, and we need that validation to prove our worth and to gain love and to gain acceptance by others. So like, I was like, people used to tell me like, oh, you're just an egomaniac because of, you know, everything about you has to be perfect. You're clean and all this stuff. And funny, like I was on a walk the other day with my dog, and God kind of put this on my heart. He was like, the reason why you've been such a control freak and such a perfectionism in everything in your life is because you never felt safe.
Yeah.
You felt chaos within your heart, within your mind. Your life was like, I've had a really unique upbringing. So you never felt safe. So anything you could control created safety within you. So I could control how I looked. I could control how I act. I could control how hard I worked. I could control how clean everything is around me because there was just so much pain and so much turmoil inside of me. And coming from that place of brokenness, ego is what led me to have all that success.
Yeah. I kind of like things being a little dirty. I kind of like being a little, you know, not perfect. I think that's more appealing to me now, you know, versus before it was like, oh, everything's got to be the polished image and perfect. And it's like, no.
I'm trying.
Like, you know, come on. Look at what Jesus wore. He wore sandals.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. I'm trying to release all that. And that's like, so like hair, the beard, like I was always this super clean cut. I got a haircut every single week.
Because when I first pulled you up on Instagram, when I first met you, I'm like, oh, I'll follow Brad. And I'm like, you don't look anything like you don't look anything like you used to. Right. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I recognize this guy. I remember going to GNC and like seeing you on posters, and I'm like, holy crap.
That's funny. Yeah, so like for me, it's been the surrender, and I think Montana's really playing into that. Like, I am so neurotic about my vehicles being clean.
Yeah, that's not a thing here.
Like yesterday, I spent all this time washing my truck, and then it rained, and I'm like, rain and snow, and it's all muddy again. I'm like, so hard, but this is part of that release.
Give up on that until June.
Yeah. Or I just move out of here until then.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, that's funny. So, and you are single, correct?
I am single.
Yep, single. Yep, same here.
Yeah,
yep.
And
it's kind of a popular thing right now amongst men. Like, it's kind of like there's a lot of single men right now.
I think it's needed.
Yeah, I definitely needed it.
Yeah,
I needed it.
Yeah, I think too many people, because of that brokenness, like you're trying to find validation, you're trying to find wholeness from someone else.
Yeah. There was definitely a point in my life where it's like, oh, if you don't have a woman, if you don't have a wife or a girlfriend, like you're not
right. No value.
You're not there. You know. Yeah, you have no value. Yeah, and it's like, that's not even remotely true.
Right. I wouldn't even go to a McDonald's and sit down and eat at McDonald's by myself, let alone go to a movie by myself, or let alone going to an actual dinner by myself, because I had so much insecurities that other people looking at me and judging me and being like, he's got to be a loser because he's alone. And like I used to hold that, and now like I love being alone.
I know. It's like I kind of dread going on a date.
It's hard because like I have these big kingdom dreams.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a father and a husband. And like, those are like the biggest desires, because like dad wasn't around, and like broken families and everything like that. So like you kind of go towards like what your brokenness is.
Yeah.
But like, I want to share my life with someone. You know, like I want to be a father. I want to be a mentor. I think that's one of the most beautiful things you can do. And like having a partner that you can come home to, that you feel safe and grounded with is one of the most beautiful things. But like, they can't be your identity. You have to both be whole on your own and want to experience that life together. So like I said, the first couple of years after my divorce, like I knew I couldn't get in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, like I knew I needed to heal. And now I'm at a point that I am so okay with myself that I don't want to expend my energy on anybody else.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best. How long has it been? 3 years? 5. Okay. Yeah. I think that's probably the best decision I've made, is not really pursuing getting remarried too soon, because my friend, I do have a good friend, and he's kind of going through the same journey, and this is going to be his second divorce. And he got into a relationship, I think he said it was like 4 months after he got divorced from his first wife. And now he's going through a second divorce. And he's like, I wish I had not gotten remarried so soon. Right. And he's like early 40s. Right. So, and I think that's, looking back, I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad that it's, you know, I didn't get remarried right away. Cause I mean, I could have made things work. I could have done this, that, and the other, but, I think it takes a long time. Longer
than most people realize.
Yeah.
Nothing I see on social media all the time. It's like people just got out of a really long-term relationship or a marriage. Like, oh, I'm gonna be single, and then like 2 months later there was someone else. Like, oh, this is the love of my life.
Yeah.
And then,
I thought you were single.
And then a year and a half later that ends, and then 2 months later there was someone else, and it's like,
yeah,
aren't you realizing there's a perpetual cycle there?
Yeah. The monkey branching. Yeah.
Right. Like, take the time, learn how to sit with yourself, learn how to be okay. God should be the center of your attention.
Yeah.
You know, not someone else.
I agree.
So,
yeah.
But then you get to that point and you're like, and this isn't a condemnation of everybody, but then you look around and you see all the brokenness, and you see like what society has become, and you see like where the lack of morals and the lack of values are. And now I'm like, I want a woman, but I'm not seeing too much out there in the dating pool that's worth my time and energy. Like,
yeah,
am I okay? Like, do I just be single the rest of my life? And then, you know, maybe in a couple of years I can, you know, have a surrogate and raise a child on my own. So
yeah. Right.
Like, do that.
There are other opportunities now, other options. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. The longer you are single and the more you like observe other people's relationships, you're like, ooh, that's not as shiny as I thought it was. Like you're like, ooh, like there's definitely problems there. And you don't, I don't know, if you had asked me that 3 years ago, I would have been like, I would have never noticed that. Right. I didn't have enough experience or knowledge. Yeah. And it's like, the longer I am alive and notice these things, it's like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people that I think they just get attached to like be attached. They don't want to be alone. They can't really handle that. Yeah. And boy, solitude, peace goes a long ways in your life. Yeah. It's very harmonious.
Yeah. And you know, it's like I said, it's not an indictment on anybody.
No.
You know, on everybody. No. There's some amazing people out there, people that are women that are probably in our shoes, you and I.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, and it's just unfortunate that like we just haven't come across them, and I'm not counting it out. But I've also kind of accepted the potential that, you know, maybe God has a purpose so big for me that I can't have family, you know, because I've had these visions, and God has shown me kind of like where my purpose is supposed to lead me. And it's been like, quite frankly, it scares the shit out of me if this actually comes true, because the reach is going to be huge and it's beautiful. But how does a family, like, how can I be present with the family and be present and serving God at the same time? And so it's like,
how do you split your energy and your time?
Like, am I on the path of one of the apostles where he's like, your impact's going to be so big that like, you're going to have to give up this part of your life. Yeah. You know? And so it's like,
because quite frankly, it wouldn't be fair to them. Right.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it's, you know, and so I'm just open to whatever right now, and I'm just giving it to God. And if he puts an amazing woman in my life, I'm not going I'm not going to search. You know, like we talked before this, like
Yeah.
I signed up on dating apps because I was like, oh, God's going to put the right woman in my place at the right time. I'm like, well, I kind of live in a really tiny valley right now. Like this is the place you move to, like when you've met someone already.
This is a great place to retire. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I'm not going to find a woman with my head stuck in the sand.
Yeah.
So I signed up for dating apps and man, that was the most demoralizing thing. And it just like, it literally, it killed my mental health. And it's not because like I desire someone so much. It's just, there's just no effort from anybody else. The game for everybody.
Yep.
And so I was just like,
it's like I think the dating apps are really poisonous for us. Like I think they need to go away. Like get off them. Don't use them. It's like you don't even know these people and you're just immediately judgment. Yeah. And 90% of them are a nope. And it's like you never know, like you might actually like them if you met them, you know? Right. And so, and again, I mean, it's the same way for men and women, right? We're both on that side where it's like, how much do you get from a picture? Right. It's like
in a tiny little bio.
Yeah. You know nothing. Right. And so they don't work and they're making, I think they're like ruining our society actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, it becomes a game. It's a dopamine hit for people.
Uh-huh. Oh, I got 3 new likes or 10 or if you're a woman, you got 300 likes, right?
3,000. Yeah. And that's the thing. It is a totally different experience for men and women.
Yeah, it is.
Like men, we have to pay so much money. It's like some of these basic apps, people are like, it's hundreds of dollars a month because you have to buy the subscription. And then you have to buy the flowers and you have to buy many comments. And it's like, it adds up like, what?
And I remember that at that moment, it was a couple of years ago when I realized, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, women don't have to pay for these? Like only men pay for these? I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Right. This is ridiculous.
So I deleted all the apps the other day. I was like, all right. I'm like, because I'm an energy person too.
Yeah.
And like you said, like just going off a photo, like, yeah, she could be a smoke show or whatever and has terrible energy and I don't know. And I'm committing all this time and effort in to try to get to know her. But like, I want to see someone. I want to see how someone moves. I want to see how someone interacts with other people. Like that's really
key.
That's what's really important to me is someone's energy and how they carry themselves.
Yeah. And I do think that I would say most of the women that I've like met and gone on dates with from dating apps, they're very introverted. And I think it's more of a draw for that type of person. Like I kind of get frustrated and bored with them and it's like, no, I like to meet people the same way that you do. And then I could see why you and I would not really be compatible with people that like solely like dating apps was their main sources because they're so introverted and they're like, well, I don't want to put myself out there. Like this is way easier to sit on the couch and
and just swipe.
Yeah.
Hopefully I find Prince Charming who's 6 feet tall with abs and has a 8-figure income and all these other ridiculous things that women have. It's like, you do realize that you have narrowed your pool down to 2% of the entire male population. And probably out of that 2%, 90% of them are taken at this point. So like,
it's like Dumb and Dumber. Like, so you're saying there's a chance. Oh man. Well, as always, it's been great having a conversation with you and you're always just very enlightened, man. Like I always gain something anytime we have a good time together. So thank you for joining me and like recording this. And it's just awesome to get someone like you and put your story out there. And hopefully it's inspiring to other people and helps them where they're at.
I appreciate the opportunity here and spreading it out. And again, if any of you guys in the Valley, you need someone in your life and you want to create community, reach out because that's what I'm put here to do. Help med across this journey that we're all suffering through.
Yep. On that note, thank you very much.
Thank you.